Hey guys, so some of you have been asking me what my graphic settings are for when I play Tarkov, so I figured I may as well make a video that shows majority of my settings. However, just remember that even though these settings will probably help you, that you should definitely tweak it based upon your system's limitations, because what I see on my end may not correlate over to what you guys see on your end, because I may have a different monitor or different components in my PC than you have. So I'm using an HP Omen 27-inch 1440p monitor, and then I am using a 3090 graphics card as well as 32 gigabytes of 3200 megahertz RAM, and then also an i7-10700K CPU. And just remember that Tarkov is a very CPU and then RAM intensive game. It is less dependent on your GPU than most other games. And there is also a known memory leak that is in the game, probably due to it being poorly optimized. And so regardless of what your settings are, I do recommend that you restart your game every couple of hours. I do actually have a clip that I'll quickly show that when I was doing testing for this video, I loaded into a Streets of Tarkov raid, and then I ended up being at like 45 frames per second. And the only thing that I did was restart and then reload back into another Streets raid, and then I was up to 105 to 120 frames. So now getting into the settings. This is probably what you guys are looking for in this guide, because I don't use any of the Tarkov post-effect settings, because I do find that it impacts the game's performance more so than just the NVIDIA control panel. So underneath the display tab on the left, then go underneath adjust desktop color settings, and then make sure that you have your gaming monitor selected. If you do come into this tab for the first time, then this is what you will see. So again, just make sure I have two monitors set up on my graphics card. So I just go back to my gaming monitor, and then I make sure that under color channel, I have all channels selected. Brightness is plus 60, contrast plus 55, gamma is plus 1.2, digital vibrance is plus 90, and then the hue is at 0. And again, this is what looks good on my monitor. However, based upon what your other settings are, then it may not look good on yours. So you can just adjust it and tweak it until you like what it looks like. And since we're in here, then I will just show you guys underneath the display tab, then go to change resolution. Just make sure that your refresh rate is set to what your gaming monitor is supposed to be at, as well as the native resolution for your PC. So like I said, I'm at 1440p, and then my monitor is 165 hertz monitor. Also down here, go to number 3, and then the apply following settings. Make sure that you're using NVIDIA color settings. Make sure it's at highest RGB, your 8 BPC, and then your output dynamic range is going to be set to limited initially. Make sure it is at full. And then underneath the video tab here on the left, then go to the adjust video color settings, and then you are going to make sure that you are on the with NVIDIA settings. You will default be on color. Go over here to the advanced tab, click on that, and then your dynamic range, make sure that you hit full, and it will be unlimited by default. Then we're going to go up here on the left side under the 3D settings tab, and then go to the manage 3D settings. So you are going to have global settings as well as program settings. So we'll go through the global settings first, and I will slowly just scroll down so that you guys can see what I have selected. And underneath the global settings, then this will or should transfer over to any games that you play. So if you play other games other than Escape from Tarkov like Call of Duty, then it should transfer over to that as well. And then I will quickly show you guys what I have selected here underneath the Escape from Tarkov. So if you don't have the Tarkov here, then you'll have to go and find the Escape from Tarkov.exe by hitting this add button, and then go and find your Escape from Tarkov.exe and then add it, and then you can adjust all of these different settings. So as you're coming down, then you will have certain ones here that are bolded, or ones that I have specifically set and changed to make sure that they are this way. So I make sure that my monitor technology is G-Sync compatible, as well as my max frame rate is 1 less than what my monitor's max is, and that just eliminates any screen tearing. Although how often are you really going to get up to 160 frames per second on a Tarkov map? Just because of the poor optimization, you're really not going to get up there too much. So I just make sure that my OpenGL rendering GPU is set to my GPU. Prefer maximum performance. My refresh rate is the highest available. Texture filtering, anisotropic sample is on. I want my texture filter quality to high performance. My trilinear optimization on. Threaded optimization is on. Vertical sync, make sure that this is off, because this can actually trap your FPS at about 60, which is definitely a no bueno. And everything else should be basically good in terms of the global settings. So once you open up the Battlestate game launcher, then just go here into your settings. And then when you close the launcher window, you want to exit the launcher. And then when you launch the game, then you also want to exit the launcher completely. So this is just going to make sure that the game's launcher is fully closed, and that you don't have any unnecessary open programs that will be sucking resources from your system, because when you're playing, you want to have the maximum frames available. And so as long as you have more RAM available to you, then you will be better off. So now we will go into the graphic settings of Tarkov. So in the graphic settings, I am at 1440p playing on borderless. And if you do want more frames, then you can go to full screen. I'm just on borderless because sometimes I do have to alt tab out. My texture quality is high, shadow quality is low. This will chew up your frames if you do have that on high, and it's just really unnecessary. My LOD quality is at 4, my overall visibility is at 2000, and these are just personal preference things. My anti-aliasing is TAA high, resampling is 1 times off, my DLSS is off, these two FSR things are off, HBAO is on high, SSR is on high, my anisotropic filtering is per texture, and then my NVIDIA Reflex low latency is on plus boost, and these should always be this way. So sharpness, this is going to be a personal preference thing. So if you like what the game looks like when you do take a painkiller pill, then you want to put it at like 2.2 to 2.3. And if that's what you're going for, then you do want to do it through the actual game and then not through your NVIDIA control panel, because it will stack with the painkiller effect. So then you'll have a sharpness of like 4 or 5, which will be kind of unbearable. Whereas if you do it through this game, then basically it will just look the exact same all the time. And then the painkiller pill won't actually stack it on top of it. Your lobby FPS limit is just basically 30 to 60 in order to make the game run smoother when you are in lobby. This high quality color Z-blur, chrome aberrations, noise, and grass shadows is all crap. Turn it all off. It all negatively impacts what the game runs like. However, your MIP streaming could potentially be beneficial to you if you're using a GPU with one of the old chips, and if you have a VRAM that's less than 4 gigabytes. However, this will put more strain on your CPU because basically it loads the textures into your GPU when you need them rather than right away at the start of the raid. So if you do have lots of VRAM, like I have a 3090, so I have mine turned off. So now into my post effect settings, and like I said, I don't use any post effect settings. The only time that I may turn on the post effects is if I am running MVGs at nighttime, and then these settings in particular just happen to change the screen to black and white, which makes it a little bit easier to see enemies at nighttime. So hopefully these graphic settings do help you guys and then make the game run a little bit smoother, as well as give you just another way that you can do it without post effect settings, since they do usually negatively impact the performance of your game. Thank you all so much for stopping by and watching the video, and have a fantastic rest of your day.